And welcome everyone to the latest episode of the Washington Wrestle Talk. I am your host, Mike. I am home now from my trip. As you know, last week I recorded the episode from my hotel room in Atlanta, Georgia. And from there I went to New Orleans, and from New Orleans I went to Las Vegas. I just got back in town yesterday. So let's get right to it. This past week I was able to watch both Raw and SmackDown. Nothing really concerning on the Raw side, other than it was announced that Elias is going to do a musical performance at WrestleMania, which WrestleMania is in 2 weeks from today, and Braun Strowman announcing that he is entering the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. On SmackDown, they had a gauntlet match with Kofi Kingston taking on Sheamus, Cesaro, Eric Rowan, Samoa Joe, and Randy Orton. Kofi actually won the match with the premise that he would be in a title match against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Well, Vince McMahon came out after the gauntlet match was over and announced that there was one more opponent, and it turned out to be Daniel Bryan. Unfortunately, Kofi lost that match after pulling in another 1 hour performance. Now, there's a lot of similarities here between Kofi and Daniel Bryan from, I believe it was WrestleMania 30, when Vince, Triple H, and Stephanie said Daniel Bryan was nothing more than a B+ player, and, he would never be the face of the company. So yeah, they said Daniel Bryan was a B+ player, and he ended up winning the title at WrestleMania 30. Now, fast forward 5 years, Daniel Bryan is the WWE champion, and he's saying Kofi Kingston he's a B+ player. So I think we're going to see Kofi win the title at WrestleMania. In New Japan, the New Japan Cup finished up today with Okada winning the New Japan Cup over Sonata in a fantastic match. I have yet to see the match. I've just heard really good things about it. So Okada will get a title match against a champion of his choosing at a later time. So right now, the only Japanese talent that holds championships in New Japan right now are Naito, who's the Intercontinental Champion, and Roppongi 3K, who are the Junior Tag Champs. But the Never Openweight title is held by Will Ospreay, who's from England. The IWGP US Championship is held by Juice Robinson. Of course, he's from the United States. The IWGP Tag Team Champions are the Gorillas of Destiny, and who are the sons of the legendary Haku. So they're Tongan American. And the IWGP champion is Jay White, who's from New Zealand. So, and plus they're owned by a guy who's from Switzerland. So, I'm wondering, with New Japan's expansion into the United States, if that's the reason why we see so many Gaijins holding the titles in New Japan. Another match that was announced for WrestleMania is Tony Nese challenging Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight Championship. Nese won the Cruiserweight tournament this past week on 205 Live in what has been called, the best match ever on 205 Live. I will have to watch the match myself to see if it really does live up to the hype. I may do that later on this evening. And of course, the wrestling world lost another legendary performer. Roger Kirby passed away this past week. Um, that name may not seem a familiar one for a lot of you guys, but Roger Kirby was one of the best light heavyweight wrestlers or junior heavyweight wrestlers of all time. I mean, he had some fantastic matches with Danny Hodge, who's considered by far the greatest junior heavyweight of all time. He's had, Les Thornton, who recently just passed away as well, was, a teammate and opponent of him at one point in his career. He held multiple titles. He was a NWA junior heavyweight champion. But Roger Kirby passed away this past week. Our condolences go out to his family and friends in this time. Nothing else to really report, other than the Rey de Reyes AAA promotion down in Mexico held their Rey de Reyes tournament, and it really wasn't anything special. It was just kind of what they like to call a cibernetico match, where one guy comes in and then one guy gets beat, another guy comes in, and so on and so forth. And I don't even know who's in that promotion anymore. I do know that the Young Bucks are the new AAA tag team champions. I don't even know who the world champion is anymore. Oh, it's Phoenix. That's right. He won the title last year from Jeff Jarrett, who also appeared at Rey de Reyes in a losing effort in a six-man tag match. But AAA has been notorious for putting on bad matches, especially at their flagship show, Triple Mania, which is in the summer. And, they've said that Triple Mania is their version of WrestleMania, their version of Wrestle Kingdom. And they have put on some really, really, really bad matches. Matches that shouldn't even be on a pay-per-view, let alone on a regular TV broadcast. So we'll see how Triple Mania does this year. It should be in either July or August. CMLL, the rival promotion of AAA, held their homage to two legends this past weekend. Usually the first legend is, of course, their founder, Salvador Luderoth. And usually they have another legend that they honor. I'm not sure who it was this year. I just saw the results on cagematch.net. If you ever want to find out anything about a promotion's result or whatnot, I highly recommend Cage Match for their, for everything that you need to know about wrestling all over the world. James Storm, formerly of TNA, made an appearance in Australia this past week, and it seems that notable Scottish performer DCT also is now based out of Australia. DCT was the ICW heavyweight champion before losing it to Jackie Polo back in September. So I often wondered what happened to DCT, why he just disappeared. And then I find that he's been in Australia ever since. So we shall see. And I don't know if he really is married to Viper, also known as Piper Niven in NXT UK. On NXT this week, there was only one match, which was a fatal five-way match between Matt Riddle, Ricochet, Aleister Black, North American champion Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole, with the winner of that match going on to face Johnny Gargano for the now vacant NXT championship. And it was a pretty good match. And in the end, Ricochet hits a shooting star press on Matt Riddle. And as he's pinning Riddle, excuse me, Adam Cole comes in and gives Ricochet a shining wizard to the back of his head and pins him 1, 2, 3. So now it is going to be Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano at TakeOver New York in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the NXT Championship. Other matches announced are Matt Riddle challenging the Velveteen Dream for the North American title. The War Raiders will face the winner of the Dusty Rhodes Classic. I already know who's going to be in that match, but I'm not going to spoil it for you until after NXT airs. No spoilers here. And also, the women's title will be defended in a fatal 4-way as the champion Shayna Baszler defends her title against Kairi Sane, Bianca Belair, and Io Shirai. Those are just some of the matches that have been announced. Of course, Pete Dunne will be defending the NXT UK Championship against Walter. So far, it looks like it's going to be a pretty good show. That happens, I believe, either the Friday or Saturday before WrestleMania. I'll have to get that confirmed. And I know that the WWE Hall of Fame is also that weekend. I believe it's going to be, I don't know, I'll have to I'll have to really look into this and see what is the case here. Of course, TNA, or Impact Wrestling, I should say now, is kind of limping along. They have a pay-per-view coming up against all odds. Johnny Impact will defend the Impact World Championship against Brian Cage. Taya Valkyrie, Johnny's wife, will defend her title, and I believe it's against Gail Kim, who's coming out of retirement. LAX and the Lucha Brothers will face off. I believe Rich Swann will have he will defend his X Division Championship. But the one match that I've seen advertised and promoted heavily is an intergender match between Glenn Gilberti versus Scarlett Bordeaux. Now, the name Glenn Gilberti should ring a bell with some of you. If you remember back in the mid to late 90s, first part of 2000, Glenn Gilberti was better known as the Disco Inferno in WCW. So that's what it is. And but yeah, kind of a slow news week. Nothing really to report. So I'm going to cut this one short. Only going to try to finish editing this and have it up for you guys. I'm still hoping to get an interview with somebody. I don't, at this point, I've asked and I've had people say they would, and then they don't respond to me, and that kind of upsets me a bit. But I will have an interview for you guys, hopefully within the next few episodes. But I'm going to cut this one off, and I will catch you guys next week. Oh, wait, no, I'll catch you guys tomorrow when I do my live Raw recap. Until then, talk to you later.